America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
Just a little while ago, the request to see a coherent, cogent Joe Biden would have been akin to putting men on the moon. Did those moon landings really happen? Hey, Buzz Aldrin endorsed Trump. You know, Biden couldn't open his mouth without accusing people of being garbage when attempting to redress Tony Hinchcliffe's jokes. Joe Biden couldn't make his way through a debate. Joe Biden was wearing MAGA hats. Joe Biden now, like many politicians when they're unplugged from the corrupt mainframe, seems to have resumed some kind of coherence, cognizance, and even humanity. Now, I've not seen this yet, but I'm told by Gareth, who produces the show, that Joe Biden now sounds sort of coherent, compassionate, loquacious, eloquent even, like Oscar Wilde holding court, brilliant bon mots and epigrams spilling from the lips of Joe Biden where once was but saliva. So what's happened to old Sleepy Joe? Is it the machine itself is some corrupt Luciferian matrix that when you're plugged into it, you turn either demented or evil, and the minute you're free, you become like a twinkly-eyed old grandpop again, the man who brought down corn pop again, and indeed a person that might have been a better candidate than Kamala. Let's have a look at the newly awakened Joe Biden. Can't wait to see it.
It's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here.
Stop it.
Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment.
Right, some of you are saying, is it the tall Biden? Is it because you think that there are multiple stooges? I mean, I suppose it's not impossible. Do you really think that? Do you really think that it's like that there are multiple Bidens?
In self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails.
Yeah, I mean, hyperbole, that's a fact. He's not said anything like that for a while, has he? I nearly was just watching the comments. I was watching what you lot were saying, but he just went, and that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. Like, he didn't say anything like that in the debate.
Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory.
He actually sounds like he's on less. I mean, I don't know if he was on drugs. But, oh, you think he is on drugs? Better ones. Centralizer saying Adderall.
And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
That's their passive-aggressive thing, isn't it? That peaceful transfer of power. Unlike January the 6th.
Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character.
This is a lot of conversation. I went on a bike ride. I did a lot of stuff. I ate an ice cream successfully. I wore aviator shades. I answered some questions coherently. I fought corn pop on a lawn by a bathing pool. It was a busy day. I told Hunter, shut up or buck up. Come on, kid, one day at a time. It was a busy and brilliant day. I took a shower, alone.
She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort. And she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree.
That's actually really good analysis. It's a competition of competing visions. That's what a campaign is. Like, that's what we've been saying. And it's weird. He's now like the Jim Carrey SNL version of him, sort of like an elder that's sort of wise and a bit world-weary and has gone through a lot in life. I'm really confused by politics.
Something I hope we can do, no matter who you voted for, is see each other not as adversaries, but as fellow Americans. Bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And it can be trusted, win or lose.
Yeah, well, you know, let's have a look at them 20 million additional votes in 2020.
I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers who do it simply out of love for their country. And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America.
What's going on? I think there's FX Extreme 14. They've put Elon's Neuralink in him. Yeah, he sounds like that's sort of. I don't you think that would have been tolerable? I'm not talking about sort of visions. I'm not talking about the way that the institutions are interconnected and enmeshed with corporatism and globalist groups, whether those are corporate and economic, commercial, or deep state bureaucratic. Those things, I'm sure, would be the same. But just on the level of just a person talking, that's a person like sort of you like where you would lean in and go, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's weird, isn't it? I don't actually understand.
To all our incredible staff,
Theo Nix in the Rumble chat. Low dosage of meth.
supporters, cabinet members, all the people who've been hanging out with me for the last 40 years, God love you, as my mother would say. Thank you so much. You put so much into the past 4 years. I know it's a difficult time.
Yeah, amazing. Well, there you go. See, perhaps there is hope for all of us. Perhaps this is an opportunity for us to compassionately look at one another, as I can't believe I'm saying this, Joe Biden is suggesting, as members of the same human family, or in your case, fellow Americans. Maybe this is an opportunity for people that voted against Donald Trump to recognize the significance of the fact that in Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, there's someone further to the left than their preferred candidate on many significant issues. When I say left here, I mean anti-corporate, anti-commercial domination, anti the domination of Pfizer, anti-war. And I know that no one is perfect. That's part of our condition, and indeed why there does need to be a spiritual component to the undergirding of any political system if it's to have any real value, because elsewise it is born of humankind, is born of the human mind. And once you've seen Joe Biden there talking quite sanguinely and nicely about the campaign and sort of quite gently and reasonably, perhaps it is an opportunity for us to recognise that there is cause for hope in your country, America, and cause for hope across the world. And perhaps we could think for a moment what we each can do personally to create those conditions. I suppose if you are a liberal person and you see a truck, a good old Ram Longhorn passing by with American flags and the word Trump emblazoned upon it, you can think, there's a human just like me. And if you are a MAGA Trump supporter, as MSNBC would portray, sort of barbecuing, tailgating, and you see someone with blue hair looking a little hurt about the way things have gone, you can recognize them too as a fellow American. And maybe we can, as is suggested in Scripture, judge not one another, but love each other with all of our hearts, as Joe Biden seems to be suggesting. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Let's be honest, most K-Cup pods are serving you mouldy, pesticide-laden rubbish. Chains like Dunkin', they're stinking the place out with their stale coffee and expecting you to say cheers. 1775 Coffee makes sure you don't have to drink a chemical soup when you want a caffeine lift. 1775 Coffee steps in to slap the mediocrity right out of the competition. Their K-Cup pods are filled with single origin, high altitude beans, hand-picked by people who know what flavour actually is. It's coffee that will slap your brain fast awake. Faster, in fact, than a government scandal. Who doesn't need an injection of this new caffeine inflection? Kamala Biden? Get this stuff down you. You've got a choice of medium roast, dark roast and mushroom blend. Yeah, actual mushrooms like lion's mane and reishi to boost your brain power as well as giving you an immediate lift. Because let's be honest, if your coffee isn't strong enough to overthrow a small government, what's the point? This coffee is for people who don't want a participation trophy. This is coffee for winners. Go to 1775coffee.com, grab your 24-pack and tell Corporate Coffee to take a hike. That's go to 1775coffee.com, grab your 24-pack and tell Corporate Coffee to take a hike. Caffeine that will help you overthrow the powerful. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.